Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
If you're wondering about what you can do if you find yourself in an FCPA compliance action, check out the FCPA Survival Guide. It's my latest book. It's sponsored by Ethico, and in it, I take up and write the top 10 things you can do to reduce your overall fine and penalty if you find yourself in an FCPA enforcement action. So check out the FCPA Survival Guide. The Daily Compliance News for January 31, 2025, the Done with Corruption edition. First, let's acknowledge it's the end of the first month of 2025. It's been a heck of a ride, and it's only going to continue. Our first story comes to us from The Guardian, which reports that the youth of Serbia are done with corruption, and the story of how they rose up against the system. It is a very heartwarming story about the youth of Serbia saying they did not want their country to continue to slide down this road of corruption, and hopefully they can continue this as well. Next up, Senator Robert Menendez makes history as the first U.S. Senator to be convicted of being a foreign agent and got 11 years in prison, concluding his trial for long-running bribery and foreign influence of rare gravity. So, according to family members, he's lost everything, and he's pleaded with the judge for mercy, breaking down in tears. But, he was lying, cheating, and stealing and engaging in bribery and corruption, so he got what he deserved. Next up, from Forbes, a very interesting article by Shoaib Javed, a Forbes council member, on how to adopt a modern process-centric approach to compliance and management. I'm certainly glad to see articles in Forbes talking about the process of compliance, and it ties into operationalizing compliance. It's something I've been talking about for many years. But this process approach allows you to do a variety of different things. The author advocates centralizing your process information, tracking regulatory changes, keeping information updated, and use your process system every day. So we may be exploring this on some blog posts down the road. And finally, Alan Stanford. He of one of the biggest Ponzi schemes of the 20s or the 21st century, his SEC case, a 16-year-old lawsuit over a $7.2 billion Ponzi scheme, has been concluded. He was fined and is required to, a $5.9 billion fine was imposed. Good luck on getting that. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.